So the governor of Texas taking Austin's growing homeless crisis on this week with weekly cleanups now underway at several encampments throughout the capital city. Housing Secretary Dr. Ben Carson was in the state last week. He is our guest now today as our headliner. And, sir, welcome to you, Doctor. And
good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for coming.
Good to be with you again.
We had the Austin mayor on yesterday. He said it's a housing issue, not a homeless issue. Others say that your laws, as the local government there, have made Austin a magnet for homeless people from all over the state to come there. What is your view on that as you were visiting about a week ago?
Well, there's no question that people are coming there because of a lot of the policies, and it makes it easier for them to exist there, and particularly if they're able to camp out in public places. So, you know, the real issue is not who to lay the blame on, but how do we solve the problem? You know, I was there, and I went to the Community First Village, and, you know, there were hundreds of homeless people there who were very happy. This is non-governmental, and they had tiny homes, they had micro homes, they had 3D printed homes. It was quite amazing, and this is all supported by private donations. But, you know, the real solution is going to be for the federal, the state, and the local government to work along with the nonprofits, the for-profits, the faith-based organizations together. It's a solvable problem, but it will never be solved if people just sit there and point fingers at each other. There's a crisis going on there. There are needles out, you know, there's human excrement. These things create health hazards. And more importantly, if you look at those people on the street, you know, many of those people, they have a hollow look in their eyes. You know, they've lost hope. We need to provide for them the right kind of setting, not only to put them under a shelter, but you've got to figure out why are they in that shape in the first place, and what can you do to correct it?
Well, Mr. Secretary, some will say you can't solve the problem unless you know what caused it. So I hear you saying you don't want to place blame on any one thing or any one policy that caused this, but how do you fix the problem if you don't know why it's happening?
Well, we know that the problem exists principally because they have policies that allow it to exist. And in places that have policies that don't allow that, you don't have it. It's as simple as that.
So like what, for example? What, for example? What policies are leading to this?
Policies like allowing people to camp out in public places. You know, public places are called public places because they're supposed to be for everybody. They're not supposed to be for a group of people who come and squat on them and make it uncomfortable for other people to be there. And, you know, some people think that being compassionate means allowing these people to just be wherever they want to be. That's not real compassion. Compassion is figuring out why they're in that situation and correcting the situation.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a shelter 3 blocks away from City Hall. And when the ordinance was passed or the rule was allowed over the summer, they allowed anyone to camp anywhere on city property, except for City Hall. What's that tell you?
Yeah, that tells you a lot right there. But again, you know, a lot of the people, you know, you can't just say to them, come off the street and come in the shelter, because many of them have been traumatized in various ways. They have trust issues. So you have to be willing to invest some time and effort, go and establish a relationship with them, and then move them to the shelter. And when they're in the shelter, many of them who have problems with drugs, who have problems, psychiatric problems, can get the kind of services that are necessary to really put them back on their feet in some cases, and in some cases at least to maintain them in a way that they're not presenting a health hazard to others.
Secretary, I know that you met with the governor there, Greg Abbott. What is his view on this? And what was the discussion that you two had as far as coming to a solution?
Well, you know, the governor obviously has a great concern for the people, for all the people, not just for one segment of the people. And, you know, his feeling is that, you know, leaving people in that condition on the street is not beneficial to them. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I would like to see a situation where, you know, people stop arguing. You know, I don't want to see the mayor arguing with the governor. let's just agree that this is a problem, and let's look at things that work. You know, if we base policy on evidence and not on ideology, we get a lot further. You know, that's how we've made so much progress in the field of medicine. You know, the turn of the century before 2000, average age of death was under 50. Now it's approaching 80. Why? Because the medical profession began to look at evidence and base policies on evidence. The same thing can happen in government.
Well, your thoughts and commentary about compassion are very interesting, too. Doctor, thank you for coming back. Look forward to hearing from you again. Dr. Ben Carson, our headliner
Always
today.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.